Well, fans, our main event features a WBA heavyweight world title eliminator. Now we invite our fighters to the stage. First, with 33 knockouts in his 38 victories, the hard-hitting warrior from Riverside, California, Chris the Nightmare Arreola. And now introducing his opponent with a record of 33 wins and 2 losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is boxing's first heavyweight champion of Mexican heritage from Imperial Valley, California, Andy the Destroyer Ruiz. Well, fans, this WBA heavyweight world title eliminator scheduled 12 rounds of boxing. First to the scale at this time, the hard-hitting world-ranked contender, Chris the Nightmare Arreola. 228.5 pounds, 228.5 pounds for Chris the Nightmare Arreola. And now his opponent ready to step onto the scale, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the new Andy the Destroyer Ruiz. 256 pounds for Andy Ruiz, 256 pounds.
Andy Ruiz weighed in at 256. Shawn, what did you take away from that weigh-in?
Both of these guys worked hard. It takes hard work to get where we get, and both guys, you can tell they've worked hard for this moment.
You definitely do see.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Andy the Destroyer Ruiz, Chris the Nightmare Arreola. It's the main event at our Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view 12 rounds WBA heavyweight world title eliminator.
A little fun, a little jovial behavior here on stage before we go, but 228.5 pounds. Chris, that is the lightest you have ever weighed in your career. We have to go back to 2006. You weighed in at 229. So what do you think will be the difference in this fight given this drastic weight cut?
Hard work. Hard work, dedication. You know, a la Mayweather, man, that's all it took. I just worked hard every day. I listened to whatever Joe said, whatever Wally said, you know, we're there working. So this weight means nothing to me. All that matters is the hard work that I put in, and I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm more than ready than I've ever been.
You said the weight was just a byproduct of the hard work. In comparison to your record-setting performance against Adam Kovnatsky, how do you feel different coming into this one?
You know, we put in the work. We worked 3-4 times harder than that fight because I knew that Andy was coming for my head. I knew that Andy has been working hard. As you could tell, he's in great condition himself. So this calls for a great performance and a great night of boxing. And everybody that doubted me, you're going to see on Saturday.
Final words for Andy Ruiz.
Let's put on a great show for our Mexican fans, for all the boxing fans in the world.
Excellent. Best of luck to you. Thank you, Chris. We'll head over to the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy, Shawn Porter called you sexy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
You know, in terms of this weigh-in day, obviously when you were in Saudi Arabia, we knew you weighed in at 283.5 pounds. Today you come in at 256. How was this weigh-in different, and how is that affecting your mindset coming into this fight?
It's all the hard work and dedication, you know, and ever since I went over there with Eddie and Canelo, you know, it's all about being disciplined, not just inside the ring, but outside of the ring. So that's why we had to make a change. And, you know, I could have dropped even more, but I felt really strong at 256. So I feel amazing.
You know, in terms of the power, I know a lot of people say you lose that weight, perhaps you lose that power. I spoke to Eddie just before the weigh-in, and he said, in fact, he thinks you have more power, because of this weight difference. Would you agree, and how do you feel in terms of your power?
I do agree because I'm more fast, I'm more explosive. I could move around more, bob and weave, counter punch, and before I used to have this big gut and I couldn't move around, or I couldn't really throw my punches right. So at this weight, I've been doing everything right, everything correct. So I'm just excited to see how I feel inside the ring on May 1st.
Prediction in this fight, how does it end?
You know what? Everyone tells me about prediction. I don't predict any of my fights. The only thing that I ask God for is for the victory, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing on May 1st.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andy. All right, it's one more sleep until these heavyweights collide in the ring.
The one thing Andy Ruiz didn't really want to say too much about a prediction, but you know what? I'm going to give a prediction. You're going to get action in this fight. Arreola weighed in the lightest that he has in his entire career. Andy Ruiz, 256. Shawn, that to me says that they've been putting work in the gym.
Listen, I did say that Ruiz looks sexy, but both of those guys are sexy. Why? Because they have a sexy mindset. What do I mean by that? They worked hard. They dedicated themselves to discipline. Everything that it takes to become a world champion, they've done. You're sexy. Now let's make a sexy fight.
Oh, definitely. Both
I
fighters.
said sexy too many times on TV.
You're okay.
You're fine. Look, both fighters showed, that they had a great training camp for this fight. They both took the necessary weeks, to prepare themselves. Chris coming in the lightest ever in his career. I mean, that shows a lot. That shows that, Joe Goosen has made him work, has actually made him work hard. And that weight, like I said, is just a byproduct of working hard. So that tells me that he's ready. He's taking this opportunity, as maybe his last opportunity, his last big fight, to make something in his career, and he's trying to take full advantage of this fight.
And Mikey, when I look at Chris Arreola, he's very focused. There is an edge to him, but in a good way. He said something along the lines of, he goes, I'm going to prove the naysayers wrong. So I feel in his mind, it might be him against the entire world tomorrow night.
Well, he's been in this position before. He's had title fight opportunities. He's had the big fights, and he's used to taking all that in and making it work for him, where he still, performs to the best that he can. I like his attitude. I like the way he was standing in confidence, the way he's speaking, and he's not, tired or nervous or anything like that. He didn't show any of that. So I like Chris. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to pull this off, because he's definitely put in the time, he's put in the work, and he sees a great opportunity in front of him. He's ready to take the advantage of it.
Shawn, for Andy Ruiz, he weighed in at 256, but he told our very own Heidi Androl he could have dropped more weight, but he felt good at that particular weight. He feels like he's stronger than ever, that he's more powerful, and yet the speed will not go ahead and dissipate being 256. What do you think?
Well, the interesting thing is people think that they're heavyweights. They can wear whatever they want to weigh, but they still have to be well-conditioned, and they still have to fight where they feel comfortable. And he says, I feel the most comfortable at 256. I believe it. I believe that he's going to be strong. I believe that he's going to be just as fast. I think that the speed is God-given, and I think that this has the makings to be a fantastic, historic fight tomorrow night.
Oh, I agree. I also think it's going to be a great matchup for those reasons. And then when I look at the weight that Andy stepped on scale on, that does show me that he also put in the time, that Eddie did push him, just like we see Joe with Chris. I think it was a great move for Andy to move camps to Eddie Reynoso. Now he's probably going to be more defensive, because Eddie Reynoso is a very defensive trainer, oriented trainer. So I expect to see more defense, more bobbing and weaving, just like Andy said, and that will allow him to perform even better on fight night.
And Mikey, you're Mexican. Do the juices get up a little bit more when you're fighting a fellow Mexican, especially here in the Los Angeles area?
I think it's going to be the crowd that's going to get you going. The crowd, this is the first time they get to fight in their, crowd environment. When Andy fought, he fought in New York. Like I said, I was probably the only one cheering for him in the arena. And then he goes and fights in Saudi Arabia for the rematch, so he hasn't had an opportunity to fight in front of fans. And Chris loves the atmosphere here too. He's here locally, here in Riverside, close by. I think that's what's going to feed the fighters the most, that energy that the fans bring on Saturday night.
Shawn, you have been in your fair share, both of you have been in your fair shares of big prize fights, the final stare down. What did you take away from Ruiz and Arreola in their body language when they were looking at each other for the final time?
Both guys are all about the business right now. And you could even see both of those guys are really free-spirited. So you can see Ruiz smiling, doing what he does. And then you see Arreola. Chris, as serious as he is, he goes out of his way to do something playful with his son. He can't ignore his personality either. So both of these guys are very well prepared. I'm excited to see them today in the shape that they are in, not just physically, but also mentally.
Yeah, they're great, in great spirit right now. They're excited. You know, they've done, like I said, all the training is done. You know, that's one of the most tiredest part of the fight. It's just a training camp. But when we're done with that, we're excited to get in the ring. You know, and I could see it that they're happy, they're excited. You know, they stepped on scale. They know what's coming. They know who's in front of them. There's nothing to worry about anymore except getting on inside that ring on Saturday night and show the world what they're made of.
Don't miss the return of former champion Andy Ruiz as he takes on veteran Arreola, plus a stacked card of Mexican firepower.
Oh my goodness!
Buy now on foxsports.com/PPV.
Thank you for watching. Well, if you enjoyed that clip, make sure you click somewhere around here and subscribe. From fight highlights to exclusive interviews, we have got everything you need as a boxing fan right here on PBC on Fox.